Your brain sees it all. Every time you open that website to goon, every time you do that bad habit, every time you break a promise you made to yourself, your brain knows. The world might not know, but your brain logs every single thing. Based on what it sees, it will grant you confidence. It is helpful for you maybe to think of confidence. One second, let me just write the C word. Helpful for you to think of confidence as a resource. Just like blood, just like energy in the body, it's a resource. It is nothing woo-woo. It's not a mental state, it's not an emotion, it's none of that. It's none of these things. Resource, it's a resource. And how do you access this resource? Your brain controls the flow of this resource, and the flow of this resource is determined by your internal competence. Your brain looks how competent you are internally and then decides to give you certain amount of confidence. Now, what does this mean, internal competence? The promises that you keep to yourself, self-esteem. Every time you feel afraid, but you command your legs, command your limbs to do the work. Bravery, courage. How much do you dedicate yourself and focus on your goals, your mission, your work? Obsession, commitment. How do you handle hardships? Resilience. All these things that I just said right now. Resilience, self-esteem. All these things, they are just nothing but internal competence points. The better you get at these skills, the more internal competence you have. And the more internal competence you have, the more confidence your brain is going to unlock for you. Now you could say, but Swapnil, I got better at my work, and after that I feel confident. Yeah, perfect observation right there. But when you got better at your work, you showed resilience. You practiced, you showed up even when there was no result. You got better at your work. Maybe you're doing sales, so you trained your bravery. You did not really feel like talking to that person, but you still did. Resilience, bravery, all these things, as I just said, internal competence points. I actually believe that the external success that you have, external competence that you show, it does not really correlate very well with confidence. Why? Because there is that class topper, there is that nerd who doesn't know how to talk to girls, and he searches up these tutorials on YouTube on how to get girls, how to be more confident. Probably you right now, I'm not gonna lie. There is that depressed billionaire, there is that super competent person, rich maybe even, who doesn't know how to hold a human communication without taking some alcohol or substances. There is these externally competent people who are rich, who have got their external results, but their internal landscape is still shattered, and that is why they can't get the confidence. Their brain does not allow them the confidence because they are not internally competent. Maybe they are not brave enough. Maybe they haven't practiced enough resilience. One of the major advices that you see on how to grow your competence is exposure therapy. Let me just write it down because this is actually pretty important. Exposure therapy. Exposure therapy basically means the more you do, the more you learn. So you stand there, you want to approach that person, you want to talk to that person, you feel afraid, but you command your legs to go and talk. And you repeat this across a bunch of times. And at the end of the day, when you have approached like 50 people, you're not going to feel afraid to approach the 51st people. And then you get confident. This actually works. I truly believe in exposure therapy. But you're going to say, well, my exposure therapy, the number of exposures that I do, isn't that external? Not really. When you command your legs to walk to that person, it's courage. When that person rejects you, that is your resilience. How well do you handle the hardship, right? Again, you can extrapolate this to courage. You can extrapolate this to resilience. There is always something that you can extrapolate out of the external success that you see into the internal ones. Because the internal success is way more important for your confidence than your external success. You could be super duper successful externally, but if you break promises to yourself in your personal life, if you constantly fight with your family in your personal life, if you can't deal with people disagreeing with you in your head, in your personal life, you still will never be confident because, again, you don't have the resilience. You don't have the empathy to communicate with your family. You don't have a high self-esteem because you don't keep promises to yourself. No wonder you are not confident. And so, if you want to be more confident, focus not just on the focus not just on the external competence, also focus on the internal competence. Sometimes to focus on the internal competence, you need to take actions which upgrade your external side. Do that, no problem, but do that keeping in mind that your internal landscape is being fixed in real time as you work towards the external goals.